Okay, today I'm here with Noah McHue, and we've been talking already for the last several minutes, but then I realized we should talk and actually record this thing. You served in the United States Navy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
What years?
2008 through 2014.
Wow, so that's a considerable amount of time.
Yeah, I was in for 6 years.
Okay, did you go in straight out of high school or what?
Pretty much. So I was 17 at the time.
Oh, so you just signed up?
I was homeschooled. Needed to get out of Dodge.
And just that was the way. And you're not alone. My best friend, he got in the Navy for exactly the same. He's like, I'm not living in Springfield for the rest of my life. I got to get out of here, and signed up and got out and went to Japan for 6 years.
I told myself I'd never come back, but here I am.
Yeah, well, life's a circle, and I think the further you go out, you kind of find that it's not that much different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you might as well go somewhere you like, or at least you have family and friends at.
Absolutely.
For sure.
An anchor point for
sure.
Yeah,
for sure. What'd you do while you were in the Navy?
I was a cryptologist, so I was a CTT.
Nice.
I was doing radar analysis.
Yeah.
Threat detection.
Yeah.
Anti-ship missile defense.
That's exactly what my best friend started. And
awesome.
And then he was on a sub for a long time. He was stationed in Japan. And then after that, he got done. He resigned so he could go to officer training and then into flight school. And now he flies. So that's what he does.
Sounds like he's done quite a bit.
Oh, yeah. He's been all over. But it started this just the same way you did, which is pretty awesome. And he had a lot. Did you spend any time overseas?
Yeah, I did 2 deployments on the Abraham Lincoln to the Arabian Gulf.
Yeah?
We actually did an around the world tour at one point because the ship had to go into dry dock.
Okay.
For the nuclear reactor needed to, every 50 years they have to do a reboot on it.
Okay,
so,
just like completely change it or just like...
I don't think they change it out. Honestly, I'm not really... it's been a while since I read up on... I've been out for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
But they do a whole overhaul on the whole system, and I don't know exactly what they do.
Wow.
It takes a couple years.
That's crazy to think, though, that at the end you were on a boat with a 50-year-old nuke reactor. That does say something about nuclear reactors and the technology. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely wild.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy stuff.
But we deployed out of San Diego. Went to the Arabian Gulf, did our deployment there, and then went through the Suez Canal up into the Mediterranean, hit up Turkey, and then came back, landed in Florida, then Virginia, and we flew back to Washington.
Wow.
Where we originated from.
How many months was that?
Altogether 9.
Wow.
Full
so
pregnancy.
Essentially 9 months underway.
Yeah.
That's pretty. That's a long time. And if you're listening to this and you don't realize, just imagine being on a boat for 9 months. For the most,
you learn to love it.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure you have to, because if you don't, you're just going to be in hell the whole time.
Yeah, it really.
Well, let me ask you this, because you go on a boat for a couple of days, you come home and you're laying in bed, finally at your house, and you just feel that sway.
I had that for months.
That's what I want to know. How long did that last for? Just months and months? You'd be walking and just feel like this sway always.
You learn to crave that too. Like,
just that feeling
gets you to sleep.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it does. I bet it was hard sleeping after getting off of it because you're used to it.
On one hand, yes, but on the other hand, my ceiling in the bunk room was the flight deck.
Uh-huh.
So 24/7, I had jet noise, chains, literally about an inch of, maybe a couple inches of steel between me and that.
And just always.
And they'd land, and they'd shake the whole ship, like 50 feet from you, so it's just constant shaking,
on.
constant
Wow.
noise. So you learn to just kind of tune everything out.
So you're a pretty heavy sleeper then, I would assume.
Yes and no. I actually did firefighting too, where I had to wake up for the alarm.
Yeah, and so
I've had to find a balance where I can train myself to sleep, unless I go, okay, like I can sleep through anything.
Yeah.
Like, if I tell myself when I hear this
be
noise,
aware, then
I'm going to wake up.
Yeah,
and it works.
That's cool.
I don't know how. The only way you learn how to do that is by being in the
situation. Yeah, and having to adapt, which is very cool. Very cool. So after you got out, you were a firefighter?
Yeah. So I did. I got out, and I was kind of done with Intel. Not because I didn't like Intel, but more just I'm going through a walkabout type concept where it didn't quite suit my ultimate need or
what you
drive.
wanted to do in your life. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I feel you.
Which is unfortunate because I could have made great money.
But if you're not happy, it's not worth it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I went on kind of walkabout. I got out, did landscaping. Sorry.
That's okay.
For another company for a while, making $12 an hour, just doing nothing. And then I'd always wanted to do firefighting since before I joined the Navy. So I just kind of circled back around to that and went, I've always wanted to do this. I've never thought I could, so I'm just going to try that. So I got into EMS, worked for a year for the hospitals to get my EMT license and my firefighting certifications, went through school to do that. Did firefighting for a couple of years, and currently I'm self-employed. So I've just kind of bounced around trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to do.
Figuring it out. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're happy, dude, you can do that for the rest of your life. As long as you're happy, that's all it is. That's all I always say about work, whether it's in the military or out. What we give in time is the exchange for money. So if you're not happy giving your time, then figure it out and do something else, man. Because you only got one life, and your time is the most valuable thing you have. So,
Preach.
I will. Well, no, thank you so much for coming to lunch with me today, sir. Thank you for your service. And
thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.